And just so you know, Sonia lives 2 streets away from me, right? Less than 2 streets. And the last time we saw each other, I don't even know what month. I think it was a waving by. We've not been out for coffee or anything because life is busy and we are friends. So, ladies, and I only share that to encourage somebody who feel like in order for you to have this friendship, you need to be together all of the times. Sonia is somebody that we can talk for 5 hours one day and not talk again for another 6 months, and we live 2 streets away from each other. I can walk to her house in 5 minutes, right? So this is important. And I know, Sonia, your time is pressed. I know you have to be at another engagement, and I really want to honor that. Can I just ask you to leave that woman, one woman here that is, experiencing a burnout, one nugget that they need to have today that can make a difference in their life?
One thing about burnout is it creeps up on you. You don't know. It starts slowly. I would say that woman, know yourself. Those signs that you're feeling in your body, what does it really mean that you're putting on the backstage? You need to be so in tune with yourself and know yourself. Number two, burnout will eat at you emotionally. How are you having those internal conversations? So people will tell you they went off on holiday. Throughout that holiday, all they were thinking are the things that they've not done, the things they are going to do. So you were just out of the house physically, mentally, you were very much in that house. I would say be present. Mindfulness is not about I'm thinking of a particular word. Mindfulness is about being present in that place where you are. You will observe, you will notice things. However, you do not judge it, you just let it be. You're just like an observer. So I would say learn to observe things. If you are out of a place, you are out of a place. Mentally check out, emotionally check out, and leave it. Then another thing is this guilt and this emotional mom's guilt. Before, I could never leave my children and go for a retreat. But now I will check out and I will enjoy my retreat. But before I go, I always ensure I prepare them. I will tell them months in ahead. By half time, mom is going on half time retreats. By half time, I'm going. I am preparing them as I'm checking out. I'm also ensuring that they are checking out as well. And then we'll come back. Is really good. So for that woman, please don't feel like you have to do everything in the same season. What are you measuring your success with?
Mm.
Are you measuring your success with Ronnie's progress, or you have your own standard? Do not measure your success. You might be age mate, you are not grace mate. I'll repeat. We might be twins, but our progress in life is different. Learn to focus on your
Mm-mm.
focus. Focus on your focus. Take your eyes off other people's things, and your time will come. What you are looking for now, Ronnie, might be what I have. What I'm looking for might be where you are. Be content and take one season at a time. That's what's killing a lot of people. You go on social media. The other day, I just noticed that I was feeling a little bit, like when you feel like I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing enough. I stop and I backtrack. Where have I been? I realized that I've been on social media a little bit too frequently these days. And I have seen what I'm not supposed to see. I have seen my sister there, Sister Shamer, maybe she's gone to Dubai. I have seen Sister Crystal, maybe she went out on a shopping spree. I have seen Ronnie, maybe she's gone swimming. And I'm thinking, how
My life
Sonia?
like this.
What are you doing with your life? Why is my life like this? So, and then I have to check in with myself that, switch out and focus on your focus. So knowing what has zapped your energy, what has distracted you, and bring yourself back home without judgment. Thank you
Whoa,
very much,
what a
Ronnie.
master class. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lady Sonia. Thank you for your wisdom. Know yourself, backtrack, tell yourself the truth, prepare, go for retreat. Don't feel guilty. What else? What else can we say? Thank you very much, Lady Sonia. We appreciate you. And if you do feel like you need to go, because I know you have an appointment, and we're sorry to have taken eaten into your time, but thank you. We honor grace. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank
I
you
am
very
glad
much,
that
Ronnie. You've been
my besties.
amazing.
Did you
Thank
take
you
this
very much.
screenshot? Did somebody take a screenshot?
Wait, I'm gonna have to do it because I know you're gonna ask me later.
Yeah, because she
All
said we
right,
should play.
yeah.
Remember, she
Okay.
said play like a
Of
child.
course, you know that.
I'm
Yeah,
a
I've done it.
16-year-old
I've done
yesterday. Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
Right.
Love you,
Thank you so
sis.
much,
Thank
Minister
you,
Gift.
everybody.
Lovely to meet you,
Thank
ladies. All
It's a
right.
pleasure. It's
Okay, bye
such
Oh,
a
bye.
thank
pleasure.
you. One final question, and I want Krista to take this question first, and then we can have Lady Shamina come in. So my question is, many women feel called to impact the marketplace. What does it look like to carry God's presence into business or career spaces in a practical way? Practical way, what
Thank
does that
you.
look like?
I love that question. But can I say something in addition to, when you talked about time management? Can I give my 2 cents there?
Yes, please.
So, there is one factor that we underemphasize a lot, and that's our kids. The second thing, we don't ask for help.
Mm.
I remember I was struggling with my first child with so many things. And one day I told my husband, "You will not even say anything. Why, And he said, "Well, you want to do it." So I had to, because just like Lady Sonia said, we want to do it in a certain way. So we don't delegate. Open your mouth and ask for help. Don't die there. You say, but you can see that I'm tired. But you can see that nobody can see anything. Say no, ask for help. No is a complete sentence. Then two, those kids, you know what I call them? My inborn helpers. They can do so much more than you think they can do. And you know that I don't hide about this. My kids, like by age 8, I'm not giving you breakfast again. Find your breakfast. There's everything in the house to make a sandwich. By now, as I'm sitting here, I didn't make breakfast for anybody because they are old enough to make breakfast for me. So you see somebody with their hands come and give me something because they have to learn to understand that they are a part of a community. And everybody needs to pitch in to make that community beautiful for everybody. So they understand that there are seasons. The day they want something serious, like, okay, mommy, can you cook jollof rice? Or can you cook, we want to eat amala. I'll step in the kitchen. But most of the time, my boys, and they are boys, most of the time they cook dinner. They have gotten used to it. So I'm not back from work yet. I get back at 5, they get back at 3. They start dinner off. And it's something we do as a family. And then it's okay sometimes that you couldn't get things done. Order pizza. Order something and let everybody get around to it. We need to have an early morning. Okay, what can we do? How can I help you? I've had times that my son was in school for an event, and my other son was the one that he was supposed to be the one cleaning up. I'll tell my other son, "Can you help him?" Oh, of course. Because that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be a community. You are not your children's servants, and they are not your servants. We are co-creating to make sure that this life we are living, that we are going to do cohesively, is going to be beneficial to all of us.
Mm.
So please involve your children in day to day, and they are not going to get it right. That's where our beautiful sister Kiki was telling us they will not get it right. I've eaten food that I don't know what I was eating, but they are doing better. Now my son is cooking for a living. He actually got a job from church. Shamina is going to be doing the chicken for next week. He has a business in food now because I allowed him. So we have more help than we know we have. Then, apart from checking for safety, just check for safety. You have help around you in your community, your friends. Make sure that you get to know your children's parents so that you can leverage one another once you know that you have the same parenting style. It's very, very important, especially if you're in diaspora and you don't have access to help and you have younger kids. Thank you. So now, going to your question, I would ask each person to take Joseph and Daniel. These are our prototypes, and maybe even Esther, because Esther carried herself in a certain way where she was. That's why she was able to go as far as she did. Now, every one of these people were in a strange land. I tell you, we are on earth. Earth is a strange land. And now I was talking to Shamina. Shamina said, "You're acting like," I think I caught someone in Daniel. And she was like, "Oh, you're acting like we're in Babylon." I said, "But we are in Babylon." Because you see, the gods of this world think they are in control. Because for so long, we, the children of light, we kept quiet and we were waiting until we can put our makeup on. As Coach you said, we say, we put on our wig and our makeup and we are perfect. Oh, the lighting is not lighting. I can't go online. And one idiot somewhere is using spiked hair and ruffled. Everything is a mess. But she's checking people's future and teaching them what they should not be doing. Beautiful nonsense is going viral. Me and you have the word, we have the wisdom, and we are keeping quiet. So anywhere you are, even if you're just a secretary, you have an area of influence. Should I tell you, it was a doorman that helped Peter to get in, right? At that moment, the doorman was the most important person in Peter's life. It was preventing him from going in. So even if you are a doorman, even if you are a cleaner, how well are you doing what you're doing? I read about someone that they said she had an experience, she became born again, and she was a cleaner, and they said, how is your life better? She said, now I lift up the rugs to sweep. Whatsoever your hand findeth to do it with all your heart. While you're doing it with all your heart, it will open doors for the next level. Joseph did not jump from having dreams to becoming the prime minister. He had to pass through that season of becoming not just being a slave, but then becoming he actually went from being a slave and then he went back to being a prisoner before becoming a servant. And each time he proved himself, he did not allow where he was coming from to affect where he was going. We have to remember that God, the gift that God has given us is for the vision he has given us. It has nothing to do with where we are now. Where you are is temporary. No matter how long you have been there, I tell you, hell is a place that you pass through. It's not a place you stay in. It's temporary. Weeping may endure for a night. Joy comes in the morning. Are you ready for the joy? Are you dressed for the joy? Are you mentally dressed for the joy? Or you're just waiting for God to drop it in your lap? A lot of us, God gave us what we're praying for. We don't have the capacity to carry it because we did not build capacity. See, that Adulam season is a season of fortification. Is the way Yoruba say one rolagbara, they are rowing you. As they are rowing you, be rowing yourself. Get ready for that next level. Because that next level will come. In fact, sometimes the next level has come, but because you were not ready, it passed. And then we had to wait for another
God
season.
have mercy.
We have to wait for another season again. We have to wait for the turning of the season, the turning of the tides, because we are not ready. So one of the ways to make sure is that you stay ready. Stay ready. If there is, Shamina talked to us about technology. I don't know technology as much as she does. And like Sister Abby said, I run away from because once all that nonsense starts, it starts affecting me psychologically. And I know. And that's why I'm working on my presence on social media because I don't want to be there and then I'm attending to everybody. So I need to build a structure and I'm not ready for that. So I'd rather not be there. But does that mean that I don't have the capacity to do what I need to do? I do. And that's why sometimes you find some people and you be like, where did it come from? Just like that. It's because while they were quiet, they were building. So by the time they launched out, like the bamboo, they just went up because they had built something. The roots had already gone deep. They borrowed the roots. It's very, very deep. So nothing can shake them now. And that's the way I'll answer that question.
Thank you.
And
This is
excellence. Do it with excellence.
excellent.
Everything,
Do
do it
it
with
with
excellence.
excellence. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can I just say that you've answered that question so well? Thank you very much. Whatever you find your hand to do it well as unto the Lord, as unto the Lord. That is how we're called to live our life. Even in the marketplace, there is no small place, there is no small season. Every season is bringing something to you, even if you're in the cave. And I really want to move away from this conversation, but I want Lady Shamina's contribution because I know she's in that space. How do we merge it? I want to move away. So please, can I have like a 1 minute answer so I can ask Lady Kiki some question? Please, Lady Shamina.
Yeah, no, sure. No pressure on the 1 minute. Got it. No, so for me, when we speak about being women of God, when I say that I am a kingdom business founder, entrepreneur, that's who I am. It's very simple. I lean into that. I don't. You're not going to have a conversation with me and not know that I'm not a Christian, but that's me, right? That's my calling. I love what Sister Sonia said. We are age mates, not grace mates. That is going to be a t-shirt for me. So it's understanding that my calling, God has equipped me as such in this time that where other people, right? I'm here in diaspora. I'm here in a space in the industry where, shocker, the way I look is not the norm. Okay. So for me, my identity isn't even based on my skin tone. It's not based on my culture. It's not based on any of that. I chose to enter into an industry where I am not the common
Mhm.
prototype. I chose that my identity was going to be the identity that was lasting because long before you say she's Guyanese or black or Indian or woman or veteran or tall or short, well, nobody calls me tall, right? Or whatever. may be. Whatever descriptor that you're going to have, the one that's going to remain is that that is a woman of Zion and she is a daughter. So me with my full chest in the marketplace, I walk in that way. And because I walk in that way, I know that I'm equipped with excellence. I know that I have provision. I know that I have backing. That being said, I also pray for discernment because there were a lot of times because I do identify as being a kingdom business, because I identified with being Christian. There are people that seem to think that that means discount. I'm not sure why. I'm not quite sure why. So let me release you from that right now. I am a kingdom business. I believe in partnership more than I do discount. Let me help you there. So one of the things that I know in the marketplace that helps me is praying for discernment, right? The Bible says in Matthew 10:16, it cautions us to be as wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. So it's understanding that while my identity is rooted in Christ, that praying every day, setting up my day to pray for discernment, to say, Lord, is this the deal that I want to have? Is this the partnership that I want to have? Is this the collaboration that I want to have? It has to be a steady thing. My daily bread, right, is speaking to my father. My daily bread is asking for the wisdom, Deuteronomy 8:18, right? For he is the one that's going to give us wisdom on how to build wealth. So I go to my father. So running one company, running two companies, let me let you know right now, that is not absent without God. And that's not absent without asking for discernment. You can have the technology, you can have the tools, you can have funding. But if you don't have the wisdom, if you don't have the discernment on how to practically apply those things, how to apply them at the right time, right? How to say no, how to pull back, because not all money is good money, you're going to end up in a world of hurt. So I think that the biggest thing that I could say right now, especially in these very peculiar times that we're in all you're getting, get understanding. In all you're getting, get discernment.
Thank you. Wow, wow, wow. And I will say further, not all good money are God money. It can be good money, but it's not God money. So, yes, thank you so much for saying that. There is a lot of things we can unpack in that. Staying connected to God, your daily bread, taking that bread from Him, knowing who you are. I think that one, knowing and understanding that you are the Father's, you are Abba's baby. Nothing can shake you because you are
And Ron,
God's.
your Abba's baby means that you do exactly what your Abba tells you. Because a
Absolutely.
lot of times we assume that that's a license for us to do what we like, especially in the
No.
work marketplace. We need to show up as the children of God we
Of
say we
God.
are every
Absolutely.
single
Oh,
time.
wow.
That
Yes.
means listening and obeying. Because if you
Yep.
say He is Lord, then He is Lord of your life. That means He's in control of what you do. That's why I said we need to study Joseph and we need to study Daniel
Yep.
because they did not conform.
Yep.
Non-conformity
And he will be Lord of all or Lord of none.
of
He does
none.
not
Thank
share
you.
his glory with anybody. And Lord and no don't go together.
They don't go
Lord
together.
Lord and yes, you have to say yes when you're saying Lord. So knowing that is knowing wisdom. Thank you so much for adding that. My final question, Lady Kiki, thank you so much for coming back. I'm gonna keep it short. I know that we have eaten into our time. This is my final question, and I want Lady Kiki to take the lead on this one. So it's a practical question. There was something you mentioned when you were speaking, and I wrote it down. You said that the child, and my child is here not listening. Deborah, can you get down for mommy, please? You said the child, needs to be told many more times, like when you give them an instruction, just saying do this, and because they haven't done it does not necessarily mean something bad that we need to tell them and tell them and tell them. So now I just want to be like, I want to be the mom, that mother all the moms here, right? You have said it over and over and over, because I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure I have sisters in the community who feel the same. Please, at what point should I be worried that I am repeating myself, or should I just keep repeating myself?
Wow, that's a beautiful question. I love it because of the last bit. At what point should I be worried that I'm repeating myself? Now, one of the things I said is children are very emotionally aware and intelligent. And so if I feel, for instance, I've been saying something over and over, Like I said, there is nothing wrong in repeating yourself. One of the things I do with myself as a parent is I have a list of God parenting codes that I use for myself to say, if it were God, my father, and me. And that's why I do not subscribe to when a lot of people say, oh, I wasn't taught as a child. Oh, I wasn't privy to that as a child. As far as you're a Christian, you have a relationship with God, who is your father. And he has a way he's parenting you. So God says, teach your children again and again and again, right? And then there is another part in the passage that says, come, let us reason together. So I have told my son, we're going practical. I have two sons, 23 and 22. I have said, your curfew is 11 p.m. And repeatedly at quarter to 11, you call me to tell me there's something, either the driver in front of you is making you go left, or you're telling me that the first station is closed, you can't buy fuel, or you have one reason. And it happened over and over. I moved to the next. Come, let us reason together. Bring your case, and I will bring my case. And I think one of the reasons why I started doing that is what's this beautiful lady that spoke, the first lady that spoke when I was coming in? I not sorry, I can't remember the name, and these things are covering my phone. But you said something in Yoruba, so I'm taking that as a license for me to speak Yoruba
Oh,
as
Lady
well, and I will
Crystal.
interpret.
Crystal.
Okay, Lady
oh,
Crystal. When I say come, let us reason together. More face in, as in I want peace. And I'm very intentional about my peace and joy. Those are like the top two on my list of values. So that's why I started imbibing these things. And I remember in the case of my son, I told him, practical, this is what I've noticed. I am not happy about it. Dad is not happy about it. We need to talk. So the next family meeting, this is one of the things we're going to discuss. I won't just come to family meeting and post things. I will tell you ahead, just like we do in the office, so that you are prepared. And then when we got to the family meeting, guess what my son did? He came with a PowerPoint presentation. All good. And we listened. He did his presentation. And you know the way you do presentation at work, they ask you questions. By the time we finished the questions, curfew that was 11 p.m. moved to 10 p.m. We all agreed from a place of reasoning together. The same thing for the worktop in the kitchen. But I gave the analogy the other day, the earlier on. It was a case of, okay, I do not like to come into the house to meet a dirty kitchen. I can stand a messed up, not a dirty sitting room. I cannot stand a messed up or a dirty kitchen. I can't. And by default, when I enter my house, the kitchen is the first place I branch into for some weird reasons. And so I had to call them, guys. This is how it makes me feel. And I've said this over and over and over. How can I help you to help me? And guess what we came to? Mom, when you're coming from the office and you're an hour away from the house, call us and tell us. And we started doing that. And we all had peace. So it's a case of sitting down. Some parents do not agree to negotiating with them. But when God says, come, let us reason together, it's negotiation. So if God negotiates with me, why can't I negotiate with my children? If He gives me peace, I will do it. And so we sit down, we talk about it, we reach an agreement, and we review. I work in projects, right? I work, and we use what we call agile methodology. And that's where the iterative design comes in. We have agreed on this. We come back together, we review it, and we build, or we break that and build another thing. Parenting is a journey. It is not a destination. I did a master class not too long ago where I say, a fireside chat, where we're talking about people say, when you say your child is 20, you have finished. You have finished work. No, every phase comes with its own work. So I don't parent with the mentality that I will finish work. No,
Never there.
we are going progressive. And so that's my own. I hope that's answered your question. Those are the ways
Absolutely.
I do.
It is.
I kind of work with the
Thank
children
you
to
so
give me
much.
peace
Yes.
and to give them peace.
I love it. I love it. You are intentional about your peace because that peace is important. For me,
Very.
you want that peace. Thank you so much. That is such a practical way. Not just to lay down the rules or lay down the order, knowing that, they can obey your rules and order in front of you, but behind you when you're not there, like you said in your presentation, when they step out of the house, we want to make sure that we're giving them tools to work with to carry them into the next phase and the next stage. Yes, maybe if we're not training them well, you might be able to put up with them. You have sons, their wives might not be able to put up with them, and we're
You might
not
not be able
raising
to.
we're not raising children just for ourselves. We're raising their arrows. They are for next generation. They are for the wife and for their children and their grandchildren. So this has been
And for
so
the
powerful for the
society, yeah.
society. Thank
Can I
you.
just add something?
Yes, please.
I said when I left earlier and I remembered something that I talked about, how we parent in acknowledging and parenting. One of the things I forgot to add is parenting with grace.
Hmm.
And when you give your children grace, a time is coming that the tables will turn. The amount of grace you've given to them dictates what happens when the tables turn. A quick analogy: when my young children were younger, it's a no-no to go late to anywhere. Once we're going late, my ears are standing. Until I told myself I'm a very hyperactive person. So it got to a point I told myself, actually I had to tell myself, you know what, Olubukola, stop shouting. The world is not coming to an end. But guess what? Now my children drive. My older son we're going to go to church 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And we said we're leaving the house at 11:30. And I said, no, 11:45. And he said, okay, mom. By 11:50, I wasn't ready. Guess what my son said? Mom, you remember how you feel in those days when we make you go late to church? That's exactly how I am feeling now. And I said, wow, tables are turned. Now, my youngest son, I sent him to Minister Gift's house. I live in Biggleswade. She lives in Cambridge. Our house to my house is about 45 minutes drive. And he said, Mom, send me the address. Hurriedly, I sent him an address. Guess the address I sent to him? 45 minutes the other way to Bedford. And then he pressed on the bell of totally Caucasian families, and he was like, what's happening? A tall, giant black man in front of their door. And he said, my mom sent me, and the people are looking. And then he called Auntie Gift. Auntie Gift said, are you sure? I can't find you. He called me, Mom, are you sure you gave me Auntie Gift's address? While I was checking, Auntie Gift confirmed to him that Mom gave you the wrong address. So for him to go to Auntie Gift is an hour away from where he was. So I called him. I said, Papa Foluwa, I am sorry. I was in a speaking engagement and they were calling me up to stage and I hurriedly sent you and I am sorry. I don't even know whose address I sent to you, but I'm sorry. Guess what my son said? Mom, it's okay. We all make mistakes. If it were you, you won't be angry. So it's fine, Mom. Tables turn. So when you are parenting, know that the day is coming that they will be the one driving the car. God bless you.
Wow. Wow. That is another masterclass. That, in fact, that to end on that note is beautiful. My God. Tables will turn. Tables are turned for some people, for some of us, I'm halfway there. I'm there. I have a 15 and a 3-year old. So you can look, my gap is here. So I'm halfway there. Somebody's
Can I
already
just
telling
say
me,
something?
yeah,
Because
go on.
she's a boy mom and I'm a boy mom.
Oh,
Yeah, we need to connect on that level.
I,
It's not
I
my
know
fault.
you.
We need to connect. We need to connect.
Yes.
So I entered into the teenage years with trepidation because they say that's when the boys get all over the place. They are,
Those were my best
the
days.
not our children, but they display some things and they are quiet. They don't want to talk to anybody, and you don't know what's going on their minds and all of that. And I'm like, it's not happening in my home. And I actually called my son one day, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because that's the way I actually deal with them. I deal with them like they're adults, basically. Even if you're going to get punished, then we'll sit down. Why did this happen? What can you do to make it different? Things like that. And I said, but they said that this is it emo thing is happening. Did he skip my house? I'm saying it playfully. And my son is like, Mom, it's not everybody. At least if it's everybody, it's not us. Can I get a hug? And they are big on hugs and they want running away. Can I still get a hug? I'm still going to be looking for hugs. And these are it's the opposite of what we know the male child to be. And both of them are like that. Even my more reticent 13-year-old is going around and asking for hugs, playing around. The point I'm making is that we don't have to make them our friends, but we cannot make them our enemies.
Mm,
I know we can't have that, you know, camaraderie that we will have as mates. We are not mates, but we cannot be, because I remember you said something, when I was a child, I grew up and I kept saying, I don't want to nag like my mom. I don't want to nag like my mom. And I still hope that I do not nag because I use different ways to re-say it. But you freed me when you said that it's okay to continue saying it because I'm like, you're 16, I shouldn't be saying some things anymore. But that is setting me free that I'm just going to continue until I see the changes because that's what God does with us.
yeah.
And so if we begin to see ourselves, the same way we go back to our poop and God has to come back and come and take us out every single time. So much so that he sent his son, Jesus, because how many goats do we want to kill? How many
Mm,
sheep do we want to kill? The same way we have to continue to give grace because we have them for at least 18 years. God knew
mm,
it to take that long. So we will continue to speak. And if it means that the world calls it nagging, it means you are loving them and you are not looking away when they do the wrong thing. You're loving them enough to wait for them, like the prodigal sons that wait at the gates until they turn back home. That's what I wanted to add.
thank you. Thank you for that addition. I love it. I love it. It's important. It's so important. And I know, Lady Shamina, do you have something to contribute to that? I don't want to leave you out of the conversation here. Because Lady Shamina have a 20-year-old, and sometimes I wonder how do you, because for me, I have a 15, that's my oldest, and my youngest is 3. So sometimes I feel like I'm in an unbalanced situation, and I know,
It's the mental gymnastics, I call it the
yes, yes. So
gymnastics of gap parenting. It's interesting, but I one of the things that my husband he taught me this years ago because I would take everything so personally, right? Especially with the first one, that this is your child. So who he was, it was like your reflection of me, right? Caribbean culture, probably very close to, African, specifically West African culture is your reflection of your parents. So when you go out, the way that you speak, the way that you behave, you need to act like you have home training. Don't embarrass me with what. And if he just had a moment where he was a 10-year-old, right, I would take that. He's 10. It's okay, right? I would wear that so deeply. Or if he wasn't doing what I wanted him to do in school, it was very much so control. And my husband has to remind me, he said, you are not his engineer. You are called to be a shepherd. You are not responsible for every end all be all moment that he has. And so I moved out of engineer mode to shepherd mode. And it is the most rewarding, beautiful thing because that 20-year-old actually comes home, right, Kiki? Like, and he will
Wants
be
to
on the
come
couch.
home.
He goes home, right? He'll go like he will still hug us and call us, and there is no trying to find him, right? Like he's um very much so I would say he's a mama's boy, right? Because he's just it's family, right? You know, when kids they get ready and they go out into uni, you think they just want to escape, and that's not it. And I think that's because I took on more of that shepherd role with him, and then now even having the little ones, the 12-year-old gap, I feel like it's almost my cheat code actually, Ronnie, because I know what worked, right? So when you look at the 15-year-old, you're like, you know what? This thing, right? Okay. So the 3-year-old. So now for the two younger ones. And the other thing that I would say that works for me is when we say that life and death lies in the power, right? We don't say it, the words.
Bless
Excuse
you.
me. Thank you so much, indeed. I apologize. So when we say the life and death, is in the tongue, what are we declaring and prophesying over our children, right? Like if my child is sick, I'm gonna be here. And I mean, they know now we get the oil and we're like, pray for yourself, put it on your head, declare by his stripes you are healed, right? But I can't with that same mouth turn around and criticize their every move. I see where my children are. So we have one that's very strong willed, right? Instead of saying maybe culturally how I grew up, oh, you just don't listen, you're stubborn, your hard of hearing, right? Like your ears don't hear. Instead of saying that, I look at her, you are so strong willed. I love how opinionated you are, and I can't wait to see how that is going to be used in the kingdom of God. I love how determined you are, and you are going to do great things for Christ because you're so determined and because
That's
you are
us.
so steadfast in your right in your beliefs,
You're
right? So
calling
whatever
it
it is,
out. We're calling that gift of God out of them.
you have to like that's how I cope, right? Like it's for them but it's also for me because
Absolutely.
I need to be reminded in that moment where you think that you're an artist and you're writing on my walls with markers, right? Let's be real. And you want to shout and scream about how much you paid for this and paid for that, and I bought you all this house. They didn't ask for that house. You bought the house, Shamina. You like the house. It's a black canvas. It looks like fun. There is a crayon. They're gonna color. So all you need to do is say, "Wow, okay, there's paper. Let's not necessarily do that, but I see what you did there. I love how artistic you are, and I would just love to see that more on paper. Do you like colored paper? What kind? Right. So this is it, right? Like I have to know that I'm equipped for this, Ronnie. I need to know that I'm the Shamina that could speak to a 20-year-old that maybe, we're praying for his future wife and talking about career and he's pre-med. And then I have to shift gears to the 6-year-old and say, please don't flush that down the toilet. That is not a science experiment. Also, please don't the ant. That's Crystal's child, the younger one. I say that's Crystal's child. She will like eat a bug. I don't know why. So, but I know that God,
Please stop
He
disgracing my
chose.
daughter.
I'm not disgracing. It's not a, you know what it is? She is adventurous.
Yeah.
Okay. If she had to eat manna and locusts, she is well
I
prepared,
am sure
right?
I am sure Crystal have stories to share about eating bug. It's a thing in Nigeria.
Nope.
You eat
I
esusu.
hated bugs.
Do you not eat
I still
esusu
hate
when it
bugs. Nope.
rains? When it rains
Nope.
in Nigeria, all those things that will clutter in
No,
that
I don't do
place.
that. I was butty. I was butty.
Almost
But
spit
what I
out
could
spit.
say actually is that, which Shamina actually mentioned, we need to try not to break our children's spirits,
Mm.
because we see when they are born with they are born with the essence of who they are going to become. Remember that you are created for a time like this. You are curated for a time like this. So they were already created with some things, and then you are supposed to help them curate it. And I say this because I was that child. I was told to keep quiet so many times that I'm almost not supposed to have a career in speaking. And I have so much to give in that area. But for the longest time, I thought I didn't, because I was told to keep quiet because girls did not speak. because I spoke too much, because I was always fixated on things. And so when I see mothers that have children that are like me, that love justice, that would speak up for who cannot be spoken for, who would not speak for themselves, that would insist on things being done a certain way, I tell them, you can correct them. I'm not saying don't correct them, but don't break their spirits.
Yes,
God gave them
correct
that
gently.
spirit, that fighting spirit for a reason,
Mm,
because they are going to liberate other people. They cannot afford to be small. They cannot afford to be small minded. They cannot afford to think that they have nothing to give. And I have that in my niece. When my sister tells me my niece does something, I just like, show me. That's so me. And because my sister had me, oh my God, I showed my sister growing up. But my niece is me now. So we're able to understand how to articulate our journey and help her give people grace. Because we don't we take no prisoners with our mouths. So learning to now use that mouth to bless and not to insult. And then going on to Shemina, you also have to understand that you have a community that have gone ahead of you. Ask for help. Don't think that you are a bad mom. Ask for help. I speak up about the challenges I have with my kids, and I have gotten help. For example, she was talking to me about that when she calls my daughter, whom I love very much. I don't see what the problem is with her. And she was talking to her, and I'm like, that's Darasimi. That's exactly like Darasimi, almost to the point where they were going to diagnose her. And I was like, nope, nothing is wrong with that child. That's basically, there's nothing wrong with being like that. And this is the same Darasimi that will be chasing me around and calling me short stuff, by the way. Come and carry your children, Kiki. Calling me short stuff because now I'm the shortest in my house. The same child that would not, that was so into himself as a baby, you carry him, he will be like, don't touch me. Like, don't move me near you. A baby, 3 months old. How do you know that you don't want human touch? He has grown up to be a well-adjusted young man because I was in tune with his needs. So the same way, sometimes, and I'm going to that, the society will tell you something is wrong with your child. You have the voice to speak into that child's life. Speak life. Don't agree with what the doctor is saying. Even if you have to agree with the treatment, tell them, okay, now that we are on this treatment for a year, I will come back. Can we go off it? Can we do 1 day, 1 week off, 1 week on, and see that God is doing what he needs to do? We need to give God time to work. And I'm going to tell you here, they told me my son had ADD. And I told them they wanted to give him medication. I said, no, do not give my child medication. We will work it out. Fast track to 6 years later, a teacher told him, I think you might have ADD. And he came and he told me, I said, I know. He said, why didn't you tell me? I said, because you're not going to use it as a crutch. Are you not doing everything everybody is doing and more? Yes, I am. Do you think you have ADD? But I had to, that was when I left my job. And while I was building my business, I sat down. I will come pick him up from school in Nigeria, come back home. My business suffered in that season. It took my business like 5 years to take off. Come back home and sit with him. Sit in front of him. Do your homework. No distractions. Do your homework. It will take him 4 hours to do what will take a normal child 40 minutes to do. That same child now is on honors roll. Don't agree with what the world is telling you. And we are not there yet because now it's a struggle to sit and read for stats. Because now he's older and I cannot do that with him anymore. But then it's a different struggle. So does it still manifest the attention deficiency? Yes, more often than I wish it would. But does that mean that is a case for someone to toy with and turn him into a liver problem later in future? No, that is my child. We are
yeah.
going to work on it together. We are going to fight this battle together. We are going to win it. And then when he gets on stage, when he's graduating and he's giving his speech, he's going to talk about the mom that never gave up on him, even when the world did.
Mm.
That's what we are called to do. We
We're
are
not agreeing with the
call out
label.
the glory that God has
Yes.
placed in our children when the world is telling them they are not good enough.
We're not agreeing with the label. We're not taking the labels. No
I'm
labeling.
not saying don't see a doctor, but
Yeah,
don't commit everything to the doctor. There is a maker that made that child. Go back to him
absolutely.
and ask for instructions on what to do.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies,
And
we
if
can be
sorry, if
here.
I'll just add to what my lady just said, inside of
Yes.
that deficiency, there is germ, there is
Thank
gold.
you.
My
Thank you.
Sopefoluwa, my son, who is a medical student right now, we were told he could not read. I love this forum because we're learning a lot. And for those of you that have younger children, I think you guys are privileged. I would say they told me he could not read. Guess what? When my son, you give my son a book to read, is looking at the pictures on the book and reading that to you, not the text. And when they said he had a problem, I said, "Don't worry. Now, my picking, we will be good." And guess what I would do? When he reads out the story through the pictures, I would listen to him. And then after he had done that, we would now face the letters and we will read that. Guess what I saw in my son? It was a creative spirit,
Yeah.
creativity. For you
Mm.
to look at pictures and tell a story from the picture. For me, that was creativity. And before you knew it, I got a folder with papers. You see those stories you are reading from those pictures, or you be writing them. And then by the time he was about 13, we had a folder full of story that we could publish. No child is a write-off. The ingredient is grace and love.
I love this.
No, I was written off. At some point, I was a timid child. One of my older cousins, when they told her what I'm doing, she said, yeah, Bukola, no. That was
Hmm.
so even Bukola, even that one, no child should be written off. Even when you can see clearly that the child has an issue, not nobody, because God has a purpose. And when Lady Krista was talking earlier on, she reminded me of what is your word, your anchor word from God. Because there will be times where the turbulence will come, the sea will shake. But you see, like Peter held on to Jesus when he was walking on water. Say, Lord, help me. That anchor word is the Lord, help me. If I tell you what my sons have been through in this country, but there are those moments of Lord, help me. Those boys are the ones going out for speaking engagement, and I'll be the one to come and sit there and I'm the audience. But to God's glory. Thank you so much, Lady Krista, for saying
Wow.
that.
Wow.
Thank you. And
Wow.
you know that you're right because, Ronnie, I'm so sorry. You're right because it's that same son that has two food businesses. Because from age 7, he kept saying, I want to be a chef. And I didn't tell him, you that you're not studying, you that you that we have to collect. I had to collect lesson teacher to teach him maths over and over and over again till he was in like GS2 or GS3. And we'll pay for it. The kind of lectures that that boy has collected is supposed to be a genius, but that's not what it's called to do. But you see this food, I don't cook chicken or fish or anything in my house. And he is making a business. He's doing it so well that I can't wait to set him up in business. Because that is the gifting God gave him. Every other thing is just supposed to support that gifting. Every one of us has a unique gifting. Every other thing is, there are some of us that are multifaceted, like I am, that you now be like, okay, where am I going? But there are some of us that it is one. And that's one. God has given it in such a grand style that every other thing is just corresponding.
Mm.
So in that kind of situation, they will label that child. Your child is not labeled. Your child has a unique gifting. And I always say something. The same way God created, when God creates every child, he will look at that child and say, who is the best person that can bring out the God in this child? And then and that was when you talked about that turbulence, and that's the word that I hold on to. That God looked at you and looked at me and said, I'm the one privileged to raise you. Because it's a privilege. And then he will give that child to you because he knows that you will not destroy what he has placed, that light that he has placed in the child. You, of the whole world, you are the one he chose. He does not mismatch.
Mm.
And that is what I hold on to in the turbulent times. God does not mismatch. God knows what this child will become. And he knows he will become a child that He has created him to be, not what I want him to be, what God wants him to be. I'm just here
Wow.
for the journey.
Wow. 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 Thank you so much, ladies. You took this one away, and I'm glad you did because it's an important conversation. Somebody have just been liberated from that feeling of, oh, why is my child like this? What am I doing wrong? Me. It's about me, something I did or didn't do. If God gave you that child, He has already equipped you. Don't look down on yourself. All you need is on the inside of you. Ask for help. Listen to the doctors, but at the same time, do not agree with their labeling if there is a doctor issue. And if it's not, trust that God that gave you that child will give you all that you need. Sometimes the children are actually bringing out the work that you need to do on yourself. The reason why you are so, hot when they do something is because there is a part of you that is still broken. I always say it's that, when my first child turned to teenager, there was a trigger. She triggered a lot of things in me, and I am so grateful to God that I recognize it. Otherwise, we will not be here. I recognize that, look, your child is just being a child, a normal teenager. Just because you didn't have a teenage year does not mean that she's doing anything bad. She's doing what every teenager is supposed to be doing at this stage. Is a trigger. So I had to start working on what was triggering me, not the child. I had to remove what the child was doing and
Absolutely.
how annoying. I had to remove it and realize this is a me problem. It's not, I've never had a teenager. This is my first one. And I didn't have a teenage year. By the time I was at her age, I was mom, I was dad, I was auntie, I was uncle. I was everything to me, myself, and I. So, and I had to see that, that your child saying, "Can I have £10?" is not because she's reckless or she's, overspending or anything. She's just a child who is looking onto a mom for what God has put in me to give to her. So, if there is a work to work on, I say that story to tell a woman here. The reason why you're shouting so much, think about it. Is it really your child? What are they really doing? The reason why you're upset and you think your children don't listen, think about it. What are they really doing? Shamina gave an example, your children writing on the wall. I know how many beatings some of your children have gotten for writing on the wall. And if you look at my house, my daughter, my youngest daughter, she thinks she's an artist. And what I started saying to her is, we must
But
make
Ronnie,
lots of
that's the
money.
season, right? That because
Yes, it
especially
is a
for those of us
season.
that raise boys, you can't find anything expensive in my house when my children were young.
My own
Because
is you
my
can't find
house is
anything
their
pretty.
house. It's not the
Yeah,
house of the visitors. So
yeah,
it's supposed to
yeah.
make them feel comfortable. And if you do not
Not,
like it, hello, you can go back to your own organized and beautiful house.
and
But
that is a
now my children
messy.
are raised, Ronnie. It will
Yeah,
be it will be idiotic to come and find everything that is a mess. That's when there is a
absolutely.
problem.
I think I had to bring myself to that. Like, your house does not have to be perfect. You have
No.
little children, accept it.
And
Again,
don't
we're
apologize,
talking
please.
about season.
Don't apologize for it.
This is the season. Currently I'm sitting in my daughter's bedroom. And as you can see, this is how she likes her room. She likes all her papers on the wall and everything. I'm the one that need to use her desk because I can't use the desk in my own room, right? So I have to accept that this is what it is. She has her reminders, she has her timetable and everything on the wall, and little quotes that she likes. To me, they make the house look messy. That's not how I want it. But this, hey, is a space. I either accept it or don't, and it's taking me a long time, but I am there. But what I'm trying to say is that it is like you rightfully said, Lady Crystal, it's a season. It's a season. It won't be forever. They will grow up. Right now, my youngest child likes peeling wallpapers off of the wall. So you might come to my house and you find some spaces with missing wallpaper. Accept it with love if you're invited. You know that you're special to even be in my house. And you rightfully said it is their house. Let us not in any way re traumatize our children. Whatever trauma you grew up with, whatever discomfort or disorganization or whatever it is that you grew up with, we are not going to be the parent or that woman or that man that is re traumatizing our children. And also, it is a season. It won't always be like that. Seasons change, things don't remain the same. But parent intentionally, and as a woman, embrace the season that you are in as well. You won't always be in this season, but if you hurry it up, you will not enjoy the season. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lady
Ronnie,
Kiki.
question.
Yes.
I was, how many seasons are there?
Oh, how many season? Oh, okay. So here we have winter, we have summer, we have autumn, and then we have, there's one more.
Spring.
Did I say spring? Okay. So and then we have spring. I know you Americans call it something different, but
No,
sometimes
the only one that is different is autumn and fall, and it's not
okay,
different.
yeah,
It's
four.
just interchangeably
Okay,
used.
yeah.
I would say this. Yes, right. So we have seasons in the natural, right? We have four, but actually there's five, right? Remember that fifth season, Galatians 6 9, right? And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
So there is due
So
season.
This season, I love that.
due season. So whenever we say there is this, because we could say that a lot, right? As we cope and we deal with things, this is just the season. This is the season that we're in. This is the season of chaos. This is the season of parenting we're in. This is the season of marriage where maybe we feel like we're not connecting because the kids are here. We've not been on a proper date. This is the season of my entrepreneurial journey where it's the beginning. So therefore it's going to be hard. This is the season of my career where I'm at the midpoint and I've invested too much. Maybe it's into the banking career that I can turn back. Right. But I'm right there. What do I do? How do I pivot? And we're always concerned about the season. And I just want us to be reminded that the only season right now that really matters is
Due
due
season.
season. Don't grow
Thank
and fate
Yeah,
not.
thank you so
Due
much.
season is
Due season is coming.
to keep our
Due season is coming. Thank you so very much. I truly appreciate your presence, your presence and your presence because you've given us the present of you. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the conversation. This has been really, really amazing. And I appreciate you all on behalf of Sister Gift. Where is she? She's coming on the screen now. I will hand it over